Hello, Eurovision friends. Thank you so much for coming to my channel, Eurovision Histories, for my review of semifinal one. I still haven't quite processed what happened last night with the qualifiers and non-qualifiers. So we're going to talk about the crazy result, obviously, but also all of the performances, the qualifiers, the non-qualifiers. I have your comments from the community tab of my channel. Thank you for that. So I added some of them in this video as well. We're going to talk about the show and the hosts as well, and also the automatic qualifiers in the end. But we have to start with the result. First of all, I think this new system of revealing the results is actually quite cool and adds a lot of tension to the whole thing, because I think this was the sixth or seventh qualifier to be announced, and they had Portugal, San Marino, and Iceland, and I thought, wow, one of them gets to make it. I was hoping for San Marino because I love the song, but also kind of for Iceland. And I mean, if these are three songs that you didn't expect at all to qualify, and then they do, that is quite interesting, I think. A lot of people in the community tab of my channel said that it's a bit cruel, but actually I think the others get a moment to relax because it's not them that is in the spotlight. In the traditional way, one after the other, they were always, potentially qualifying or not qualifying in that moment. So maybe it's even a bit more relaxed, not really relaxed, but a bit better for the contestants. And it's definitely better for the viewers, I think. And that became very apparent when this was the ninth one. I thought, okay, we have Cyprus left, we have Belgium left, and Ukraine left. Ukraine kind of has to make it. So I expected Ukraine to appear here. And then you had Portugal, Azerbaijan, and Slovenia. And I thought, what on earth is happening? At that moment, I actually thought Ukraine is a non-qualifier for the first time ever, which was very naive looking back at it now. But incredible. And then Portugal making it was a shock for me, honestly, because I thought they were dead on arrival, but maybe they were a good contrast to all of the other songs that were quite high intensity in the end. So my predictions, I didn't get a lot of them right, to be honest. This is my worst prediction, I think, in a long time. In my earliest prediction, I had 8 out of 10, I think. And then in the last prediction yesterday, I had 7 out of 10. So what that tells me is I shouldn't update my prediction, maybe, and not be influenced too much by the rehearsals. Anyway, crazy result. And then when Portugal was announced, I thought, okay, now we have Belgium, Cyprus, and Ukraine still left to get a spot, and then Ukraine got it, and Belgium and Cyprus were out. Crazy result for me. Maybe Belgium and Cyprus canceled each other out a bit. They had similar visuals in a way with the strobe lights, and also similar vocals in a way as well. But yeah, I was not the only one to be very surprised by these results. Here are some of your comments. I have never been more confused after a qualifier announcement. I agree. Well, never is not true. There were some semifinals a long time ago where I was even more confused. When Kate Ryan didn't make it for Belgium, for example, that was a long time ago. Big Tree says, I don't think I've ever been so unbelievably shocked in an ESC semifinal in my life. Tell us when you started watching, because there were some in the 2000s that were even crazier. Queen Maggie says, Belgium non-qualifier. I cannot believe this. San Marino, Estonia qualifier. Why? Okay, Portugal is a surprise, but it's a nice song. I am happy for them. Hallie says, I've never been this happy about the results of a semifinal. This is crazy. Oh my God. So a lot of them were also positively surprised. And Big Splashy especially says, all my favorites went through for like the first time ever. Happy for you, Big Splashy. Let's talk about the non-qualifiers one by one. We have Belgium, a second non-qualification in a row, unfortunately. And as I said, this is the biggest shock in a long time. I was prepared to say, after seeing the performance, to say that this is a dark horse for the win, actually, and then it doesn't qualify. I can't believe it. A lot of this was so well done. It looked like a Grammy performance, I also thought, with the graphics working. The only moment that I really didn't like was the time when he interacted with his reflection in the ground on the ground. That was a bit weird, but everything else really got me going, and I really liked it. Maybe it was just too much for the casual viewer. The song is very a lot, and then also having the strobe lights and everything else, maybe it was just too much. I don't know what happened. I'm really interested to see the result. Maybe this almost made it, but even still, I expected this to be top 5 at least in the semifinal. Crazy, crazy result. The vocals at the beginning, okay, they were a bit off, but I thought it was actually better than in recent performances I've seen of him. I'm so sad for him, honestly. He does deserve to be in the final. And a lot of you agree. Belgium non-qualification. Europe, are you serious? He was the best performer of the night. Scheukler says, partway through Belgium's performance, I had trouble hearing him over the music, like the sound mix was off or his mic wasn't picking him up. As soon as I noticed that, I worried. There were a lot of sound mixing issues throughout the entire show, especially during some of the performances. During Poland's performance, her voice was way too low, I think. Belgium as well. Cyprus maybe as well, though I thought maybe that was intentional by the production or by Cyprus themselves. So yeah, that was an issue, and he was quite low, that's true. Not sure whether that's the reason he didn't qualify, but they really have to work on that for the final, especially. For Sweden, it was also quite low, I think, their voices in the whole sound mix. This keeps happening at semifinals, and I don't really understand how that can happen because they had so many rehearsals. Ryan says, Portugal and Iceland are some of my favorites, but Belgium out is insane. I agree. After talking about the non-qualifiers, we'll try to find out what they have in common and what might have happened. Then Theo Evan and again, not really sure what happened there. The staging deserves to be in the Eurovision final. I'm very sad for him because he really worked hard on all of that. You really noticed that. The vocals were better than in the rehearsals, actually. So I thought, oh, it sounds okay. So this will surely make it. But it didn't in the end. Again, maybe it canceled each other out with Belgium. Similar vocal styles, similar kind of staging, not when it comes to colors, but with the strobe lighting and everything. Maybe the song wasn't good enough. I'm not sure what happened here either. Kristen Owen says, shocked at people being shocked about Cyprus not qualifying. The vocals just weren't enough. So maybe that's the reason why this didn't qualify. Still, sorry for him. Then Mama Gama, Run With You for Azerbaijan. They had a lot of fun on stage. They did really well. I think the staging, unfortunately, I think was not right for this song. The song is still a good one, I think. Also sad for them, but I wasn't as surprised that they didn't make it as with some of the others. Clemen, I changed my prediction to qualifying because I thought this was very emotional. He looked more emotional in the dress rehearsal, but still, I think he did a really good job. He sang this really well. Maybe after the high-intensity Poland performance, people weren't yet ready for something a bit slower. I thought it would be the opposite, that they would be happy to have a breather, but yeah, unfortunately, didn't quite work. Natalie McKinnon says, for the non-qualifiers, I thought Belgium's performance was so memorable and iconic. Agree with that. But I guess it just didn't resonate with enough people. I'm also personally devastated by how much time do we have left. The first song to ever make me cry at Eurovision. So Clement did reach a lot of people, but apparently it wasn't enough to qualify. Then Marco Bozniak with Poison Cake. I also saw this. He had a bit of trouble with hair in his face, I think. I don't think that was planned. A Luisa Bailesh moment. That was a bit distracting, maybe. The vocals were fine, I think. Maybe one of the best that I've heard him. And I wouldn't have been shocked if this managed to qualify also very late in the running order. And having Switzerland come right after it might have hurt it a bit. But yeah, I'm not completely shocked it didn't make it. And Mafalda Costa says, even though Croatia did not qualify, I was pleasantly surprised by their staging. It was a mess that worked very well. I agree with that as well. I didn't see the cauldron, by the way, that the Reddit blog was talking about. So Not sure where that went. Then let's talk about the result once again. These were the non-qualifiers. As I've said, I'm most shocked about Belgium not making it, second most shocked about Cyprus not making it. And a few of you had very interesting ideas why that is. Neve says, note for future contestants, whatever you do, don't put red in your staging. Red Sebastian, I guess. Cyprus didn't have red in its staging and still didn't make it. Astero Peleki says, last night's lesson was that we shouldn't count on the odds and that having a good stage director and sing in English is not enough. I am happy that the odds were wrong because I do talk about the odds a lot because it's fun, but I'm actually quite happy that it was a surprising result because it makes the whole thing more interesting in the end. And also that Eurovision YouTubers like yours truly are so wrong about things, that adds to the excitement as well. About the good stage director, yes, you cannot outdo a song that is lacking in catchiness, maybe with a great stage show, maybe. So maybe that was true for Croatia. People couldn't quite connect to the song, maybe also Azerbaijan and some of the others. And then we have the Sing in English thing, and Planet with Pano also says that all the countries that didn't make it to the final had one thing in common, singing in English. And that is a development I am so happy about, honestly, because I love it when we have more national languages, and the fact that all English songs didn't qualify except for Norway, all of the others had at least parts in the national language is so cool. So interesting. Final Salas says, wasn't expecting for the last two songs not to qualify. The last time that happened was in 2017. Thank you for that fact. Semi won Slovenia and Latvia, so the running order isn't as important either, apparently. Very interesting developments in Eurovision. By the way, when we talk about non-qualification streaks, when we talk about non-qualification streaks, Azerbaijan now has 3 in a row, Belgium 2 in a row, Slovenia, Cyprus, and Croatia made it last year and didn't this year. Now, I'm still going to do my prediction for Semi 2, even though I was so wrong about this one. But let's look at the qualifiers. Nampa Deslocado for Portugal was the big shock qualifier because I thought this performance was a bit too subdued, but maybe that's exactly what made it stand out. In hindsight, it all makes sense, but I didn't really see this happening. The semifinal was full of very high-intensity staging, high-intensity songs as well. Belgium was very high intensity, for example, and maybe people were happy about a sea of calm in all of this, and then went for Portugal. And I also think that Portuguese people living in Switzerland and Spain really loved this song and maybe also voted for it in quite high numbers. That is how I can explain to myself why I was so wrong in the first place. Now let's look at some of the comments. The man in blue flame says, my mom, a non-hardcore fan, loved the stripped back vibe of Portugal and understood why Belgium didn't go through. So maybe casuals, again, like the stripped back part of this. And then a lot of my Portuguese subscribers, which I have a lot of, said, I'm shocked that my own country, Portugal, passed tonight. I'm very happy for you guys. And Michaela says, really surprised, didn't see Portugal qualifying. Guess it was the difference factor that made this happen. Really surprised, but happy. So the misery for the Belgian fans is the happiness for the Portuguese fans. Then Iceland and Roa, kind of surprised this made it, but after seeing the performance on the big screen on my TV, this was so much fun. I think the song is good, actually. It's catchy. They had so much fun on stage. It looked a bit like very natural. It looks like they just came onto that stage and did their thing. But at the same time, it looks very professional as well, with the boat, with the sequence where I chose exactly that sequence where they duck away from the graphics flying in. I love these moments. So well done, Iceland. And a lot of you, Bruna Reinison, one of my few Icelandic subscribers, is very happy today. And I can completely understand. I told you Iceland would qualify, he says, and I'm so happy that this color, this energy, this happiness is in the Eurovision final, because we need that also it's part of Eurovision and it's part of what makes Eurovision so great. And I also have to say I loved watching that semi-final. It reminded me of why I'm a Eurovision fan. And Princess Frog Diary says, so happy for Iceland. One of my favorite songs this year. The boys have great charisma and their backup dancers were awesome. Agree with all of that. And Mafalda Costa says, I was really unsure about Iceland, but as soon as I saw their performance, I knew they would qualify. What an energetic duo. I was singing and jumping along in my chair. I think a lot of Europe had a very similar experience. Then Poland, Justina and Gaia, another one I was very wrong about. Not in my initial prediction, but in my updated prediction. And in hindsight, it makes sense that this went through. It's completely Eurovision, so much happening, so entertaining as well with everything she does. I like the fiddle especially, and I love the dragon as well. I think a lot of casual viewers really liked that part as well. And I mean, I think a lot of people were really impressed with everything that she does in these 3 minutes. Just impressive, really. I thought it would be maybe a bit too much in this very high-intensity semifinal, but apparently they went with Poland and thought Belgium was too much. And in the end, I think it makes sense. So I'm very happy for her, for the Polish fans who are very happy today as well and support her very, very much. So that's very good, I think, as well. Then we have San Marino, Gabri Ponte Tutta l'Italia. I was very, very happy when this went through. I think the staging is very fun. It's still a bit awkward at times when you see him just dancing and the others are singing. But I think the instruments added an interesting touch to this. And I love the graphics in the background, how it plays with these very Italian things or Roman statues and stuff. But then you have David blowing a bubblegum bubble. Is that how you call it? That is really fun. They performed it well, and it's just a very good song. That's the main point of this, I think. It is doing incredibly well on the charts. It's now the 5th highest charting entry at the moment. All of them are from Semi 1, obviously, which is a bit of a disadvantage for the songs in Semi 2, actually. But San Marino is doing very well. I think people will be surprised about the result of this in the grand final. This will get a lot of votes. I think it got 12 from Italy, probably maybe 10 from Albania, or even 12, because they love Sanremo as well. And so very happy this went through, and one of the predictions I actually got right. Matteo Tamburini agrees. Gabri Ponte is a very famous DJ, and mainly Italy has voted tonight as well. So I think it is very natural Tutta l'Italia passed. In hindsight, it is very natural. Then we have Tommy Cash, Espresso Macchiato. This is doing incredibly well on the charts as well, second after Sweden. So I'm guessing that he was second maybe in the semifinal as well, because it is televote only. This was an entertaining performance, a fun performance. I think this fan moment really added something fun to the performance. Once again, still not a huge fan of the song, but it makes sense that this made it through. I think a lot of televoters liked this quite a lot. And so did Jude. The stage invader part of Estonia's performance was the moment of the night for me. I loved it. And I think a lot of casual viewers did the same thing. Then we have Ziffa, Bloodbird of Prey. I mean, when we had the last spot to be revealed, I thought it would actually not shock me completely if this didn't make it, because I think the staging is a bit too colorful, maybe. It did make it in the end, which in hindsight, again, is very understandable. I do like this light that they have that travels throughout the performance. That's very sweet. But I don't really think that this will do all that well, not as well as recent Ukrainian entries, at least. In the final, they did perform it well. I'm very happy that they are in the final, very happy for them. And this is also another touch in the final, a indie band, which is also great that we have something like that in the final. Then Kyle Alessandro and Leider, great performance here. What can I say? This is a very standard pop song. So I think a lot of people gravitated towards this as well with all of the high intensity songs we have. This is also kind of high intensity. The burning part of the staging was very impressive. A lot of the lights in this are incredibly impressive as well, and he's a great performer. So especially for his young age, so made complete sense to me that this went through. And I'm happy they announced him first, so he didn't have to be all that nervous throughout the announcements. Then Germ and Skoda Electronica, when this came on, I just thought, what an amazing song. Just the beginning, the instrumentation at the beginning of the song is so, so good. And she performed the hell out of this. He did too, actually. And the camera angles, the colors, everything works. This will do incredibly well. And it is a bit of a touch that we don't really have in this Eurovision all that much with traditional elements. The clapping works. They did a great job with the staging. I couldn't be happier the way they did this. So well done. Oh, and by the way, Beatrice's mom left a very sweet comment under the interpretation of Germ I did. So thank you for that. I think we saw her in the green room. Lovely comment, really. That made me really happy. In Italian also. Then we have Claude and C'est la vie. I'm so happy he went through. Because of all the negativity he had to deal with, unfortunately. I thought this was a good performance. He sang this very well. I do understand what they are trying to do with the staging, and it works in a lot of moments, like at the beginning. I think there was also a cue problem, like the music set in a bit late, which I think actually added something to the beginning because it felt like he was gathering his thoughts, what he wants to tell us, but they have to really improve that. I think the same thing happened with Switzerland as well, Switzerland's performance. I mean, great performance. The way it is staged could be more effective, but I think this is still a good staging for the song. It's a great song. He's a cool performer. And what I wanted to say at the beginning, he's really expressing a lot with his face. He could be an actor, so that is really impressive as well. And the last part with the kid from the music video dancing with him, symbolizing, of course, him when he was smaller and younger, when his mom sang the song to him, was a lovely, lovely moment. Indeed. Then Kai Barabarabastu. I mean, what can I say about this that I haven't already said? Amazing performance. I chose the moment, by the way, that always makes me giggle and chuckle when Jakob adds a bit of water to the oven and can't quite take the heat. I love that moment. Lots of fun moments in this, obviously. The big sausage at the beginning, everything in this works. The chemistry between them works. I mean, what can I say that I haven't already said? It's a great, great performance, and this will do incredibly well. It's doing very well on the charts in a lot of countries already, especially from Semi 1, obviously. And I mean, this is going to win the televote most probably, and it's such a fun performance, especially when the last part, the club with the lasers happens. That's a moment I think a lot of people will be positively surprised by, that it even adds another level to the whole performance. Well done. I would be very happy if this won, with their story from not being favorites in Melody Festival and to now possibly winning Eurovision. I mean, amazing. And a lot of you were as well in the comments, especially Skytsguide Nerd. I hope I said that right. I'm so happy. I was nervous for Kai. I don't think you had to be nervous, honestly. Never know. It's Eurovision. That's true. Thank you to all of you who voted. Hugs from Sweden. Hugs back. And I can't wait to see this in the final. These were all the qualifiers. And let's talk about the automatic qualifiers as well. First of all, we have Spain with Esa Diva. What an image, right? I mean, this is a very slick, cool performance. She hit all the notes. What I said from the dress rehearsals, that her voice was a bit too loud, was actually perfect here. So in the sound mixing, I think that was again a problem with the sound mixing in the rehearsals. So much is happening here, but each moment really works in its own way. The beginning with the black and white with the very bright screen is amazing. The way you see the red color of her nails is amazing. It looks like an artwork once again. And then there's a lot of Eurovision in here as well, what people think Eurovision is and what they expect. The song is growing on me every single time I hear it. So I think this might do rather well in the televote. I think this could be a top 15, maybe even a top 10 entry, because the juries will like this as well. She sings this really, really well, and they will appreciate how amazing her vocal performance is with all of the choreo she has to do. So well done. Melody. Lucio Corsi and Volevo Essere Enduro is a big surprise because he is doing very well on the charts, much better than some of the other songs that seem more chart friendly. He's the fourth most charting entry at this very moment after Sweden, Estonia, and the Netherlands. Forgot to mention that, by the way. Sweden is charting in a lot of countries. The Netherlands is doing really well in a lot of countries. I kind of expected that because it's kind of the chart song. But Italy being fourth in that ranking is surprising to me. But that, I think, could show that he will get a big televote because people are touched by the message. They like the subdued tone that this has. I think adding the subtitles was a very good idea, and the harmonica part I just love so much. Again, the audio was too low for that. We didn't hear it enough, but I think people will understand why he looks the way he does, why his mate that's with him on stage looks the way he does. And it supports the message of the song that being different is not a bad thing. So I think this will do much, much better than people are expecting, at least in the televote. But I also think that the juries will love this as well for the musicality it has, all of the instruments he plays. And by the way, I love the very long piano and the shot on it because people can see that, but they can also start reading the subtitles and notice that there are subtitles. That's very smart of them, I think. And this long piano just shows us that there's a special thing going on. He invites us into his special world, and well done, Italy. I can't wait to see how this does in the final, and maybe this will surprise a lot of people. And then this one, there were technical issues, Soeme and Voyage for Switzerland. The camera didn't work for the later shots. At least that was happening in my stream. I don't know whether that maybe was a stream problem, but I've read that other people have seen that as well. They uploaded a performance that I think was from the dress rehearsals, which I'm happy about because people need to see how great this is. But even with the technical difficulties, which can happen, it's a risky kind of performance with a lot of stuff happening, obviously. While not a lot is happening, but the camera work is very difficult, is what I'm trying to say. So many beautiful, beautiful shots with the blurred out parts you saw it, the beautiful way the light effect works as well. And she sang this incredibly beautifully. This is another one to look out for, to watch out for. I hope the performance works in the final. This is the first time I think it hasn't worked in the rehearsals. So I don't know what I can say about this that I haven't already said. It's been my favorite all along. I'm not going to say I told you so, but this is a very beautiful song and performance. And she is a beautiful person as well, I think, from everything I see of her on social media. I know we're talking about qualifiers and non-qualifiers, but the story of the night for me is Switzerland because, wow, even with the technical issues, I was mesmerized. I think the staging was better than Barbara Pravi's, honestly. That is a comparison that I also thought of. Some of the hand shots and stuff is reminiscent of Voila. This has a very different energy to it, but I see what you mean. And I also agree that it is kind of better, even though I love Voilà's performance as well. Last but not least, I want to talk about the show elements quickly. I thought the production value of this was really good. The jokes were quite good. Some of the self-deprecating ones I liked especially, which felt a bit like the shows in Malmö. So I like that quite a lot. There are some comparisons with Malmö, obviously, that they made themselves, but I think you can quite outshine Petra Mera, I think, but they did quite well. And one of my favorites was Made in Switzerland. Such a fun performance, so many cool elements to this. The wicked nod as well. And some of the jokes were really funny, I thought. I saw that a lot of people didn't quite get Hazel Brugger's humor, which I kind of expected to happen because that's the kind of humor that maybe doesn't travel all that well. But I liked it a lot, especially the interactions in the green room with the artists later on. So I have one comment that shows that the blonde host was very awkward in the green room. But of course, awkward hosts are part of what makes Eurovision special and fun to watch. She was awkward on purpose, I have to say. I know her comedy and it is on purpose, but I understand that it maybe doesn't travel that well. So well done on the Made in Switzerland part. Obviously, having Petra Mede as a surprise guest was great. The Wilhelm Tell part musically was very cool as well. I have to watch that again now. And obviously, another favorite of mine was the Celine Dion tribute, because I'm a big Celine fan, as you might know. I thought that shot was a bit weird. It looks a bit like an in memoriam with the orchestra, but still, her message was very sweet and heartfelt in English and French. So very cool. I still think there is a chance that she might be at the final in person, because she didn't say, "I'm sorry, I can't be there at all. I'm sorry, I can't be there right now," is what she said. The performance after of Ne partez pas sans moi was also very well done. Marina Sati looked amazing. Jerry Heil had an outfit that was a bit reminiscent of Celine's outfit in 1988, which I found cool. Yolanda, I love, obviously, and Sylvester Belt also was very good. So I love that moment, and I hope Celine shows up in the final. And then they closed it with the Olsen brothers. I don't think a lot of people were still watching 100%. I wasn't, because I was so shocked by the result. But that was a sweet moment, the way he rewrote the lyrics for Eurovision. That's my review of Semi 1. Later today, I will try to predict Semi 2. Still, even though I was so wrong about Semi 1. And I'll see you for that. Subscribe to this channel if you want more videos like this one. I'm so excited. I'm getting more and more excited. And yesterday was a highlight already. So I'm so excited to see the other shows. See you then. If you subscribe, I'll see you in my next video. And bye-bye.